best city in Texas? Where are the best places to live in Texas? Why is everybody moving to Texas? We have the answers to these questions and so many more, as well as top insider info from relocation specialists slash realtors all over the Texas area from the four major metro markets here in Texas, which include San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and Austin areas. So if you are moving to Texas and you want all the details about the best places to be, then you don't want to miss this. Let's check out what we all have to say about our favorite things about our cities.
All right, everybody, we have got Tammy Dominguez representing San Antonio, Texas. Hi, Tammy.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Excellent. Excellent. We've got Tiffany Moore representing Austin, Texas. How are you, Tiffany?
Hey, I'm good. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. We've got Royce Isaac representing Houston, Texas. How you doing, Royce?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not a lot. You see it. And of course, I am here representing Dallas, Texas. All right, guys, we're relocating people into our respective cities. And I'm just curious. I know about Dallas, but I'm curious what the major feedback or maybe the major couple of feedbacks that you're receiving from your relocation clients are about your city. All right, Royce, I want to start with you. A lot of people who are viewing this have never been to Houston. You know, Texas is a major relo hub as a state. And I'm just curious, I want you to tell people what's the feedback that you're receiving from the people that you have moved to Houston and perhaps they'd never been there before, no friends or family or anything.
When they come out here, their feedback is always, great, great feedback. They love the food, the options rather of food. One thing I guess we all can say we have in common is they love the barbecue out in Texas, and they just love the amount of space. First and foremost, in Houston is it's one of the largest cities in terms of landmass. So they just love the options that they have, and that everyone is not so on top of one another here. And it kind of helps out dealing with COVID these days.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'll direct the same question to you, Tiffany. What about Austin? What is it that you keep hearing from the people that are relocating to Austin?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I talked to a lot of people who have either only been here once on vacation or have never been to Austin at all. And I talk about the things that I like. I moved here for like the food, the entertainment, the stuff to do outside, and people will like read those things about Austin. And once they actually move here, then they really get a sense for the community and the culture and just the inclusiveness of the area. So Austin is not the most diverse city in Texas. Houston, would obviously be number one, but we are very inclusive. So that's some of the feedback that I really get from people, is that no matter what you're into in Austin, there is a community for you and you can find your group of people, however small it is out here. So people really like that about this area.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I want to come back and touch on some of these things that you guys are talking about with the food and the culture. Tammy, San Antonio, you're relocating people there. So like, what's the feedback? Are they happy once they arrive?
They are. So some of the top feedback that I get from people that either visit the area or that have moved here is, number one, the people are so much nicer here in San Antonio and also throughout all of Texas, I've heard, than they are in other parts of the country. Our culture here is very diverse, like Tiffany was saying, in the Houston area. But that's the number one thing, is people are just so much nicer here. Number two, something that catches people by surprise, everybody hears about how hot and humid it is here, but it actually doesn't take that long to get used to it. So that's nothing to worry about. And then number three, the Mexican food here is just amazing, and people are not surprised by it. Obviously, we're known for that, but that's some of the biggest things that people notice when they get here.
All right, so that kind of leads me to my next question, and I'll talk about Dallas a little bit. People are pleasantly surprised, of course, when they move to Texas with the prices. Dallas is, as far as the weather, Dallas I feel like is more of a dry heat. It's not as humid as Houston, right? Austin, that's a dry heat as well. I would say Houston's definitely the most humid of all the cities, but the dry heat is just a killer for some people, even with humidity being that extra step of almost even with that humidity kind of being that extra step of like misery. but the dry heat's a killer. It's reminiscent of like something in the desert, Las Vegas or something like that. People just don't like the dry heat. But of course, when you've got all these positive things, people are willing to make do with it for the most part. So we talked about food a little bit, kind of touched on that. Who's willing to vouch for your city? Who's got the best food scene in Texas?
We do.
I do.
It can't be all four of
We do
us.
for sure.
It can't be all four cities. Okay. So who's got the best? I might sound pompous for saying this. Who's got the best Mexican food?
I'm gonna say San Antonio for sure.
I'll give you that.
You're giving them that?
I agree with that.
Really?
I mean, there's just so much as far as options. Like you can go to 10 different restaurants and they all have 10 different unique styles of cooking and flavors. Like we've got taco trucks all over the place. So I'm gonna say San Antonio for sure.
I wanna put Dallas in the hat. I want to put Dallas in the hat because it's not a joke though. We've got a lot of I don't want to call them mom and pops. They're like small franchises. Do y'all have a Mi Cocina anywhere else? Is that okay? So it's a Dallas thing. Okay, my family's favorite restaurant. There's a few Blue Goose cantinas here. Just tremendous Mexican food, and the amount of Dallas is known for kind of like Houston. I feel like Austin is more mom and pop, but as far as like bigger chain, like willing to take something that was once mom and pop and put it on a bigger scale for, maybe have like 10 or 12 around the city. I feel like that's a Dallas and Houston type of thing. But do you guys trust the gas station tacos? See, that's a thing here. That is a huge thing. That's where a lot of the chefs, that's where they like hone their craft before they get their actual restaurant. We've got these restaurants called Velvet Taco. So I actually have to separate when I'm telling people, they're relocating here, they're staying for a few days. I'm like, so you want barbecue? Let me know. You want Mexican food? Let me know. Do you want tacos? Let me know. And I'm actually like separating tacos and Mexican food. Do you guys do that? Is it like two different?
Yep.
It's like two different things with you guys, right?
Breakfast tacos are their own meal, their own specialty. You have to go certain places for those.
They are. Okay. Best barbecue scene. Austin's got like a really tough barbecue scene.
There's two barbecue places that I absolutely love in Austin. Franklin, number one. It is worth the hype. You get in line at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to eat around 2 o'clock, and then they're sold out by 3. So yeah, it's so good though. Like everything there is amazing. Aaron Franklin just does such an awesome job with everything that he does. My second favorite taco place was Valentina's, and it's tacos though. So it's barbecue tacos. So it's like Franklin level barbecue, and like the best tortillas, the best tacos, the best like pickled onions and everything like that. They just moved a little bit further south, like Budas, a little bit closer to San Antonio, but my husband's going to kill me. I don't love the barbecue. He's a huge brisket and like beef ribs fan.
As he should be.
Yeah, he would have a higher vote for Austin. And like, those are my two favorites, but there's like, it has to be a special occasion for you to get in line and wait for Franklin's for like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, that's kind of like a Hutchins barbecue up here. Once they're out of like, for instance, their burn ends, they're like, forget about it. Like they're shutting down shop. Who's willing to vouch for their city? Who's got the best culture?
Oh, well, if we're going to get into
Organic.
art, I mean, a lot of people don't seem to know this, but Houston is an art center of the world. Not the art center, but is a art center of the world, and we have a very large art community here in Houston. So I probably are going to take the cake when it, compared to you guys when it comes to art.
I have to say, like, I know like there is a ton of art in Austin, and that's one of the main reasons that people move here is for art and the culture. But Houston is like second on my list for food scene, art scene, visual arts, fine arts, music arts, all that stuff. Like Houston has a really awesome and diverse artistic scene. Austin, I feel like Austin is on the verge of getting there. Like we've been growing a lot, and it's kind of been more of like a beatnik hippie town since the 70s up until now. And it's becoming more of like a metropolitan area and drawing more diversity and more people, which is helping us grow the culture scene and the art scene. But obviously we don't have anywhere near the diversity that Houston does. And that's been the case for a really long time for Houston. So Austin's kind of like coming up in that direction. We do have, Austin's just a smaller city in general. So smaller in landmass, smaller in people, just fewer artists there, even though it is considered, like an artist town, it's just smaller and a little bit less diverse, but really cool murals everywhere. Obviously tons of live music. We're the live music capital of the world. Lots of cool museums around the capital and things like that people don't really think about. All people think about is like live music. There is a lot of other art and theater here, but yeah, I totally agree. Houston is just much bigger and much more diverse. I think it's got a bigger art scene that people don't really think about a lot.
I just love my city, but we have a huge theater district, art galleries. You can go to the Third Ward district and you have Black art promoted and highlighted there. You can go to Midtown, you have murals and monuments everywhere. I mean, again, like she said, it's just a really, then we have a lot of music festivals here, probably not as many as Austin does, but we have a lot of concerts and music festivals here too.
Yeah, South by Southwest takes the cake for like, as far as music festivals in Texas is concerned.
Right.
I mean, it's on another, it's on another level. So, so I'm curious, guys, outside of your own city, which we are all championing here on this video, what's your favorite city in Texas? Tammy, I'll start with you.
I would say I really like the Boerne area. It's a suburb of San Antonio. Some people don't consider that because it's about 30 miles northwestish of San Antonio, but it is technically a suburb. It's just a beautiful area. It's right into the Texas Hill Country. They've got amazing properties out there, amazing school districts. It's just a super cute, like friendly little town that I'd say that's my favorite little town near the San Antonio area. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about you, Tiffany?
I think it depends on what we're looking for. If we're looking for just like somewhere quiet to go and relax for the weekend, I like Fredericksburg. It's kind of like Texas wine country. And there's not a whole lot to do. So you're not going to get FOMO going out to Fredericksburg. You can go to like a farm, pick some peaches. You can go to a winery and maybe go to a restaurant and then just chill for the rest of the time. But if we're looking at like metropolitan areas or like fun stuff to do, I really like Houston, like kind of all the stuff that we're talking about. Like my husband and I moved to Austin for the arts and the culture and the people and everything like that. And Houston is kind of like that, just exploded with a lot more diversity. The food scene in Houston is insane. There's just so many good restaurants there and more people up and coming and all kinds of different diversity and food and everything like that. So like if I had to pick a metropolitan area to like spend a weekend in, it would definitely be Houston. If I wanted somewhere to go and chill for a long weekend and just relax and do nothing, Fredericksburg is a really good option too.
So Tammy, I'm going to go back and kind of specify, I guess, re-ask, what would you say your favorite metropolitan city is outside of San Antonio?
I would say outside of San Antonio, my favorite metropolitan would have to be Houston as well. I just like,
really,
to me, it's more similar to San Antonio. I feel more at home there than I would say the others.
Really? What about you, Royce?
Kind of diverse.
He's only Houston. He's like, just stay.
We can't pick Houston twice, Royce.
I mean, I'm a native Houstonian, so I love my city. A lot of my friends call me the mayor of the city because I'm always talking about Houston and I'm always learning new things. I've been here for it'll be 41 years next month. I've been on this earth and been in Houston. Every time I thought about moving out of the city and the state, I just moved to a different corner of the city because it's so diverse. They have different cultures depending on where you live. You know, you over here, you feel like you're in New York, you know, you're over there, you feel like you're in Cali or something like that. So that's one thing I love about the city. However, my wife and I both are native Houstonians, and it's kind of like Tiffany said, it depends on what you're looking for. Um, and so, for instance, I have a lot of fond childhood memories in San Antonio. My
Really?
aunt would take me to San Antonio to go to Six Flags. We used to have Astro World here. Six Flags Astro World is closed, but it never could compete with Six Flags over Texas and San Antonio. I mean, never could. And we used to go every summer. So I love that about San Antonio. I think San Antonio is so relaxing. It has a huge Tex-Mex Mexican culture in San Antonio. I love that about San Antonio. Austin, we like to go to Austin when we want a bar hop. You know, it's the place to go to have a lot of fun. You want to hear tons of live music, you go to Austin. You know, where was the place you said, Tiffany, for the wine gallery?
Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg. We've been there a couple of times. Love it there as well for the same reasons Tiffany mentioned. And then Dallas is my favorite place in Texas to go to party. The thing I love about Dallas is it's a smaller Houston. And so you have everyone here. It's like this huge melting pot of fun in one spot. My favorite restaurant to go there is Moxie's. And we have a Moxie's here in Houston. It's much larger. But you have all of these different cultures and folks sitting right here at Moxie's in Dallas, in downtown Dallas. And I remember the first time I went to that location, I'm sitting right next to Des Bryant from the Cowboys, from the Dallas Cowboys. And he was like totally cool. He was there with his boys, and I was there with a few friends, and I literally bumped into him in the back, you know, backwards. And he was like, "It's cool, bro," and offered to buy a drink, and it was really cool.
You know, I'm gonna say Austin just because I love Lake Travis. Every time my wife and I go outside, every time we decide to go somewhere in Texas, Austin is at the top of our list just because of all the reasons that you guys named. And I appreciate you giving some love to Dallas because Dallas was sounding pretty shabby. Low on, didn't make anybody's short list. I was like, I for sure thought you were going to say nothing compares to Six Flags over Texas at Arlington, because I'm like, yep. And then you said in San Antonio, I'm like, what?
That explains the look on your face when I said that.
What are we talking about?
Honestly, though, I've only been to Dallas like a few times, and it's never been long enough to really get to know the city. So I just don't feel comfortable there. That's the only thing. It's gorgeous, though. I love the area.
Well, and you know what? That probably has to do with the proximity. It's the furthest away of all the other metropolitan areas like Houston, San Antonio, and Houston, San Antonio, and Austin are all within just 2-3 hours of each other. Yeah, you got to get pretty far up. I mean, we're in North Texas up here. It's more or less a different part of the country. I mean, with South
it's
Oklahoma.
Like a 5-hour drive from San Antonio.
Yeah. So yeah, no, what a fun conversation that we're having. Let's shift to real estate. I want to start off in talking about real estate. You guys are moving people in. I got a question for each of you, and I'll of course answer this question myself. Let's talk about acreage living. Someone who wants to live on an acre, beautiful single family. Where are you sending them to? Let's start with I'll start. If someone's looking in Dallas, number one, I'll say that it's pretty hard to find an acre single family, and I'm talking kind of that subdivision lifestyle as well. There may not be like the community pools, parks, playgrounds, ponds, and all that stuff, but at least there's a community HOA. The homes look somewhat uniform because there's certain builders that are building in there. And I would say that you kind of have to get on the fringes of Dallas Fort Worth. We've got an area called Parker, and I was just out there. I was just out there yesterday. You can get on an acre out there for no less than $800,000 to $900,000. I would send somebody to Prosper and Salina as well. Here in Prosper, where I live, same price point. Great builders, Shattuck Homes. This is a Dallas-based builder. Do y'all have a Shattuck Homes in each of your? No, we're just here in Dallas. Shattuck Homes. There's a few other builders, but Shattuck definitely is one of those really popular builders that builds on an acre. And not to mention, there's several other builders that are custom, smaller production builders. You know, they build in production, but not in like every community that you see. But yeah, I'll switch that over to you, Tammy. Tell me about San Antonio. If someone wants to build on an acre and they kind of want that, a little bit of that subdivision lifestyle, where are you sending them to? What's give the viewers a good builder to check out?
Yeah, so much like your area, you kind of have to get outside of the city, like to the outskirts, to get an acre or more of land. We're probably looking at like the I-10 corridor heading like northwest outside of San Antonio in the Boerne area. But even in between, if you don't want to go as far as Boerne, there's so many builders out there. I'd say one of the top areas for acreage is going to be the Cordillera Ranch area, which they start like most of their homes are well over $1 million, but it's definitely a great luxury neighborhood, and you get so much privacy, and you get all the hill country views. They have so much to offer out in those areas, and that's where you're going to find most of the acre lots. Now in the northern area, there are some as well. The Dominion is very well known here in San Antonio, and they have acre or more lots, 1 acre plus as well.
Oh, over
so
an
it's all
acre.
depending on if you're looking for newer builders, you're going to be looking more on the custom side. Most of the production builders don't do those large lots. Like we have Highland Homes and Perry. Sometimes they'll do like half an acre, but pretty much you have to buy your lot and do custom to find an acre or more.
Yes. Tiffany, tell us about Austin. We know Austin is expensive. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Getting in on an acre, goodness gracious, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought this up. I had a client who was looking at, like a big piece of land, and we found these communities up in like kind of the same thing, like outskirts of town, northwest side. So there's a lot of new construction going on in Leander, and then these communities are kind of even further away from that. So they're probably about like 45 minutes, 50 minutes to downtown Austin. 2 major builders, David Weekley. Do you guys have David Weekley? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Milestone, and there was another one. But yeah, they're building on 1 acre lots. Like the whole community is 1 acre lots. They're starting probably at like 850, going up to 1.5, 1.6. So those are the only 2 that I am aware of anywhere in the Austin area. Everyone else, Tammy, like you said, is building on, if you get a big lot, like a 70-foot lot, that's only going to be 1/4 acre. And most of the houses are on like 50, 60-foot lots if you're in like the 600 price point. So it's, all the houses are on, smaller lots. You can pay for a bigger one, but even at the 70-foot lot, which is kind of on the higher end of the new construction that we've got, that's only going to be a 1/4 acre max. And that's if you get like a special lot. So land is kind of hard to come by. And that's something that some folks struggle with is, we want a big house. We don't want to be on top of our neighbors. So we're either looking at like older homes, that are built in like the late 90s, or we're looking at these huge lots that are like way outside of town. But that price point is going to start at like 850.
Interesting. I'm actually surprised that y'all would have that even in like the under $1 million, just because. Have you all heard what I've heard about Austin is that like, if you thought that your multiple offer situations were bad, try Austin's. I mean,
Austin's next level.
Yeah, right. Is it like,
Yeah.
If we got a home here and it's got 12 offers, that same house in Austin would have like 40 or 50. Is that true, Tiffany?
Yeah, we had 40 and 50 offers early. So it's kind of slowed down a little bit since the summer. It really peaked around like June, July. We're stabilizing much more now. But seriously, in January of this year, it exploded. We had a house in Round Rock that got 96 offers. So it was ridiculous. And obviously,
what was the price point on it?
That's what I was going to say. The lower the price point, the more competitive it's going to be. So I think that house was like 350, 400, which in Austin is on the lower end. Yeah, of the prices. Yeah, but now it really is stabilizing where we are. We're seeing some homes on the market for 10 days, 14 days. I know, which seems like, for us, it's a really long time. So if you see a house that's been on the market for 30 days, you're just like, what is wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold yet? But it used to be like it would go on the market Thursday, multiple offers, like every house you could count on multiple offers being due by like noon Sunday or noon Monday. So you plan on that and you make your highest and your best offer and try and make it as competitive as you possibly can. But yeah, it's slowing down a little bit. Most good homes are still getting multiple offers, but maybe like 5 or under. So we're not seeing 20 offers per house anymore.
Royce, Acreage, any popular cities that we, I've only heard so much of, like your Sugarland, your Pearland. Do any of those pop on the list for, no, that's more subdivision living and
Right.
Okay.
You have Sienna over in the Missouri City area, which in Riverstone Ranch, which is in right next door to which is Sugarland. So those are going to be master plan community type areas over there. Missouri City does have one particular neighborhood though, where one or two actually, where you can get an estate built. You have to get your own builder. And honestly, I tell people that's pretty much the best route to go if you're having an eye towards cost savings. However, in Missouri City and other parts of the city of Houston, you will find that the lots for about an acre are going right around 100K. So if you get maybe a builder like DW, David Weekley, or Coventry, you guys have Coventry?
Got Coventry.
So yeah, you get Coventry or DW to build on your lot there. Typically you'll find the price point starting in the mid to high 4s and then working their way up there if they're going to build on your own lot. Now, aside from that, if you want to get anything in terms of an acre below 100K, like Tiffany and Tammy both stated, you're going to have to go further out. So those areas are going to be, if you're going South Central, you're going to go past, well, even before you leave Pearland, there's a city within Pearland called Brookside Village. And so most people don't know it exists because if you drive through there, you just think it's another part of Pearland. But Brookside Village is a great hidden treasure, if you will, to find, an acre lot around 60, 70K, or some cases even lower than that sometimes, and build your own lot. Build on your own lot. But other than that, you're going to go South Central, going towards Lake Jackson. So you get to like Rose Sharon, Texas, past Manville, past Iowa Colony. If you go west, you're going to go past Katy, Texas, like you're headed towards San Antonio, and you'll find parts of Katy as well as Fulshire, Texas. And then north, if you want to go north or northeast, you're going to go like Porter, Texas, New Caney, outskirts out there near Bush Intercontinental Airport.
Tremendous school district, luxury, newer construction. Where are you taking people to? Let's start with you, Tiffany.
So yeah, I love it when people tell me that they want good school zones and they want luxury, because those two things usually go hand in hand. It's really difficult when I talk to folks who are like, we want really good schools and we want to live in this city. Just like any big city, inner city schools are not great. So if we're talking luxury and good schools, we're going out west to Lakeway. So that's going to be by the lake area. I feel like there's two different areas of Lakeway. There's like Old Lakeway, which is kind of like not, no track neighborhoods, no planned neighborhoods. It's kind of just like a free for all out there. You've got a trailer next to a $600,000 house. But the draw for that is being close to the water. So people want to be 10 minutes, 5 minutes from the water for like boating, kayaking, stuff like that. But there are a lot of new construction. I would say newer construction, like in the last 10 years. But we're kind of running out of land in that area. It's pretty close to being fully developed. But that area resembles, like if you've driven down the coast of California, that's kind of what it feels like to drive around Lakeway. Everything winds around the river. It's very hilly and curvy, lots of trees everywhere. Like it's gorgeous, but you're going to pay for it. If you want the good schools, we're going to have to pay those taxes, and we're going to have to be in a nice house. I wouldn't say you're probably going to have to spend at least $750 to get a 2,500, 3,000 square foot house in Lakeway.
Tammy, great schools, newer construction, luxury price point. where are you sending someone when they are looking to relocate to San Antonio?
So in San Antonio, that top school district is going to be Northeast ISD if you're looking for luxury and a little bit more modern homes and not so much the historic side. Northeast ISD is one of our top school districts. It's out north of San Antonio, the 281 area. They have some of the highest rated high schools, which I know is really important to people moving here. They check a lot into the high schools. And there's some of the highest rated high schools in all of Texas. So that would be our number one area if you're looking for luxury and an amazing school district, that's definitely the spot.
Awesome. Real quick before I get to Royce on this, is there an area of the city where you have like 3 or 4 top school districts and they all share borders with each other, and that's like known for being where most of the development has happened between like 2010 and 2020 and like even to now, and it's got a future as well? Or are all your like major like top school districts, are they pretty like scattered across your city and like that one's way over there, that one's way over there? Because we've got
No, they're pretty much all right there. So we have Northeast ISD, which borders Alamo Heights ISD, which is the top school district in San Antonio. They have luxury homes in that area. However, they're historic homes. So it was kind of like you were saying, you know, they're an inspection nightmare. They were built in the 1920s. So even though they've been completely renovated, you know, you just never know what kind of issues you're going to run into in those areas. And it's a very specific person that's looking for homes in those areas. So that, yeah, the Alamo Heights School District kind of borderlines with the Northeast ISD, and then it goes right in the North Side ISD, which is a great school district as well. The homes are definitely more budget friendly in North Side ISD. It's our largest school district. So I would say those are the 3 top in the San Antonio area, unless you're getting out to like Boerne or into the outer suburbs.
Interesting.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, it's knowledge for me just to hear all the names of the areas and suburbs that you guys are talking about, because I'm born and raised in Dallas and I know Dallas. I don't know Houston, Austin, or San Antonio like that. Royce, tremendous schools, luxury, newer, it's on its way up, trending, and where are you sending people to?
Well, the thing about it is very difficult just to say 1 or 2 or 3, what have you. The thing about Houston is we have so many options with everything, whether we're talking about art, food, places to go, areas to live in, luxury, great schools. Houston, I think, totally exemplifies, specific to your question, Texas. As we all know, we do things bigger in Texas. And so Houston is that, you know, in terms of metropolitan areas, because it's the largest city in landmass, it's the largest city in the state with population. So you're definitely going to have more options. We're not like New York, where we build, you know, more in depth and build up, we build out, right? And so because of that, you can go to, if someone tells me, hey, they're coming from Cali and they want to live near the water, great school and luxury, I may send them to League City, which is southeast on your way to Galveston. If they say they're coming from New York, they usually, I don't know what it is about New Yorkers, but when they come from New York, they always want to go to Katy or Cypress, which is west or northwest. And yes, so on the west side of Houston, to your other question, we have three different school districts that will border one another, that you still have luxury homes available as well. And that's going to be Cypress Fairbanks on the northwest side, which we just call Cy-Fair ISD. Then you have Katy ISD, which is west. And then you have Fort Bend ISD, which is southwest, which encompasses Rosenberg, Richmond, I believe Warden, and Sugar Land, and Missouri City as well. So Fort Bend ISD is a very large school district, but all of those areas are going to have those good school districts, a lot of diversity, I like to add as well.
Sure.
As well as luxury homes available for you. So Sugar Land to, you know, Missouri City, Sugar Land, Katy, or Cypress.
Good to know. Good to know. It sounds like a lot more than I'm going to be naming for Dallas. We got options, but I've got places. It's not bad. I've got places where I want to send people because then I can sleep at night. I'm like, they'll be totally good here for a very long time. So I'm just going to continue to send people.
Actually, I'm sorry, just in case someone sees this video and jumps on me. I left out my own city that I live in, which is Pearland. So
Yeah, don't
Pearland
do that.
ISD or Alvin ISD in the Pearland area, which is South Central.
Yeah, you better do that. Don't do that. Leave them out. So Prosper and Frisco share a border, and as does McKinney, Texas. We all have McKinney, Texas. Ring a bell for anyone? Yeah. Um, Little Elm is actually on Lake Louisville, and while it's not the same school district as Prosper, McKinney, Frisco, it's on the freaking lake, and we only got like 4 lakes, 4 bodies of water here in Dallas. So I try and get people close to them, because without anything major like ocean or mountains, I'm trying to help people who are moving from the coast and they're used to water. I'm like, I'm going to put you, within 10, 15 minutes of the lake. Hopefully you get there sometime while you live here, and, just get out there, rent a boat, and enjoy yourself a couple times a year. I feel like I'm doing them a favor, and just on my channel, I really try and make that impression that, look, we revere our lakes because we are in the middle of nothing. We're in like the southern part of the Great Plains. We don't have terrain. We're definitely the flattest city compared to where you 3 live. I mean, it's nothing. It's rolling plains for as far as the eye can see. We have a little terrain, but yeah, it's probably Frisco, Prosper. There's a couple other places that have great school districts, obviously, but they're kind of secluded. I like Frisco in the fact that Prosper, where I live here, Frisco and Prosper together, there's something about this area. These corporations keep moving here, and now Frisco has landed on top of having FC Dallas, on top of landing. Have you all been to the Star yet? Like, come up to Frisco and seen the Dallas Cowboys world headquarters? It's stupid. It doesn't make sense to have, like, it's awesome. And I'm kind of tongue in cheek about it. It's stupid. It is crazy awesome, right? But you match that, and now the PGA of America is moving their headquarters from Florida to Frisco, Texas. Did you all know that? Yeah, PGA of America moving their headquarters to Frisco, Texas. So it's wild. Yeah, between Frisco and Prosper, that's where I'm sending people. Of course, South Lake is going to be on the list. Like, South Lake is traditionally a top school district in the state of Texas. I don't take just a ton of people to South Lake. They have to already kind of know about it before I really send anyone that direction. All right, let's see who we've. I got a fun question for you all. All right. The most famous celebrity, athlete, or musician that represents your city.
That's easy. Beyonce.
True. Yeah. Beyonce. Yeah, very true. And she still represents the H. So she's got, her folks are there. So there's some Beyonce vibes still in the city.
Well, she comes here and shuts down the Galleria whenever she goes shopping.
Yeah. I would say so. Awesome. Tiffany, can I guess? Can I just go ahead and throw Matthew McConaughey out there?
I would say either him or Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Ooh,
yeah,
Willie.
That's legendary.
Forgot about
probably Willie.
Yeah, it's definitely legendary. Willie for me.
Yeah, McConaughey's got to take a back seat to Willie.
Absolutely. Hands down.
All right, let's hear it, Tammy.
So I would say for sports, for athletes, it would be David Robinson. Even though he's not like from here, his time with the San Antonio Spurs, he just made such an impact on the city, and he continues to have positive influences all over the city. For musicians, George Strait was born south of San Antonio, but he does have a mansion here in the Dominion, which is on the market for $7.5 million, I would like to add. So I'd say those are the 2 top. Emilio Navaita was born here and from here, famous Tejano singer. And Shaq actually is from here as well.
I'm sorry, who?
Shaquille O'Neal.
He is?
Yeah.
I thought he was from Louisiana. I mean, I know he went to LSU.
No, he was an Army brat, so that makes sense.
Oh, what's your Army base there? is it an Air Force
So
base?
the Army bases, well, we have 2 Air Force bases, and we have the Fort Sam Houston, we have Randolph Air Force Base, Lackland Air Force Base, and Camp Bullis. So we have quite a few military installations here.
Interesting. You know, as you guys were going, I'm trying to think of one for Dallas. Can you guys help me pick one for Dallas? Do you know anyone who's, I mean, right? Everyone's looking the same way. Everyone's looking the same way. You know what? It's between a few of them. Like Erykah Badu is like true Dallas.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's true Dallas. She's like see, Jamie Foxx is from Terrell. And when the Dallas Mavericks won that championship in 2011, I was kind of upset because Jamie Foxx, like, I felt like he jumped on the bandwagon then. I'd never heard him like in Hollywood or seen him representing Dallas until the Mavs won the championship. And then I see him on Mark Cuban's float, like going on the parade. I'm like, say, man, you can't bandwagon. I mean, I know he's from, but Terrell's outside of Dallas. But I would have to say Erykah Badu, Jamie Foxx, the Stiller brothers. No. The Wilson brothers. Owen Wilson and what's the other one? Luke Wilson. They're from Dallas, but they don't like represent. So that's who I got. I'm pretty sure Erykah Badu is going to take the cake there as far as true Dallas. And I don't know where like Perot is from specifically, but we've got Perot's big here. Tammy, why don't you take a second to send people to your YouTube channel?
Sure. If you are considering moving to the San Antonio, Texas area, then check out my YouTube channel at Living in San Antonio TX, where you can find tons of videos on all about San Antonio, on different neighborhoods, subdivisions, new construction, all kinds of videos that will help you in your consideration.
Excellent.
Yeah, if you are thinking about moving to the Austin area and you want to know what the neighborhoods are, where the good school districts are, where the hot zones are, reach out. My YouTube channel is Austin, Texas Living. I've got all my contact information there. Reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, email, send me a text, however you want to get in touch with me. I've got your back and help you out whenever you're moving out to Austin.
Royce, Isaac, why don't you take a second to sign off for us, for anyone looking for Houston TX?
All right. All right, guys, if you want to know what it's like to work, play, live, eat, and sleep in the Houston, Texas area, then look us up at youtube.com/Houston, Texas Living. Remember, we got your back when it comes to relocating to the Houston Metro.
Yeah, and here, Tommy Wooten putting the woot in real estate. And if you're looking in Dallas, Fort Worth, reach out. The channel is Prosper Texas Living with Tommy Wooten, and it's where you can learn about life in and around Dallas, Fort Worth. Guys, I want to thank all of you for jumping on. I look forward to seeing the comments. Everyone, please leave comments. Let us know if we left out anything. Be sure to insert your thoughts in the comment section, your thoughts about these 4 metropolitan areas in Texas. Look, we all champion Texas. So many people moving here, and never mind what you've heard. We welcome everybody that is looking to move to Texas. Do we all agree? We're like, can you stop with the don't move to Texas, we're full talk? That is such
exactly.
nonsense.
The more the merrier. We love people moving here.
And we've got space.
We're proud
to
of
grow.
our state. We have a lot of pride in our state, and we're happy to welcome anybody.
If San Antonio is your destination spot, or if you have any questions about San Antonio, need help with your move, I'm here for you. All of my contact information is down below. You can reach me by phone, text, or email. I'm happy to help, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.